Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa for part 2 of my testing of my new Clubsport RS wheel with the CSL DD, the V3 pedals and my version 1.5 sequential shifter, all by Fanatec. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. Last time out, in the last video, I was trying out the 1.5 shifter in its H pattern mode. In fact, today I'm not going to be looking at the 1.5 shifter, so that's okay. And I was testing the new Clubsport RS wheel, which is the round wheel, which is what I had been waiting for quite some time. It was unfortunately delayed, meaning that I couldn't make these videos about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago when I wanted to. But that is okay. We have it now. I've made one video and this is the second part. This part is going to be focusing on some changes that I've made from the last videos. For example, I've dropped the force feedback down a little bit. I have also adjusted the screws at the back that were making the ticking noise that I was talking about in the last video on the quick release. So I've adjusted them slightly. Perhaps that will help. And of course, I'm going to be trying out the magnetic shifters, which is going to be very different. I've never tried these ones out before, and just from feel I can tell you now that compared to the G27, they just feel so much better. There's no real flex to the shifter, so I can shift them from the bottom of the shifter, from the top of the shifter. In fact, there's a tiny amount of flex at the top of the shifter plate. But obviously, for the most part, you'd be shifting in the middle anyway, and it's really well positioned. The wheel, of course, is bigger than the G27. That's something I didn't mention last time. But yes, the wheel is bigger, and it does have all the buttons on the wheel as opposed to only 6 and the rest on the shifter. So we do have that. The target lap time for today, to see if I can get to this in a few laps, is going to be let's see, 7 minutes 44.464. Now, in the last video I managed to get within 1 second, or about 1 second away from the lap time that I did on the G27. That was my first time with this wheel. I'm expecting that I should be able to get fairly close as well on this car. One of the things that I will say is that on the other car, on the Lotus, even though I was within 1 second, I know I had a scruffy lap, and I know I have almost, I think I've got about 3 or 4 seconds in it now. So I do know that this wheel is giving me the ability to go faster. I want to see if it works on this. And because normally we drive Ferraris in red, I thought I'd pick one in blue this time. So make sure you stay tuned. And that's enough of me talking. I'm now going to get on with some driving, and let's see what these magnetic shifters are like on the paddles, and see if the improvements or the changes I've made improve my driving and improve the realism of this particular kit that I've got installed right now. Okay, here we go. This is going to be interesting. Right. Oh, this is not going to be easy to drive actually and see. That's for sure. I've chosen to drive in autumn. That was a silly thing to do, I think. Now, one of the things I really like about these wheels is that I can change the force feedback on the wheel as opposed to the force feedback in the sim, which I think is really cool. Right, what's the force? I think now I've dropped the force feedback on the wheel to 85 of 100, of course. I still hear the little clicking. That's interesting. Oh dear. That didn't go so well. Dropping the force feedback to 85 has actually made this. It makes this feel very. This feels quite a lot lighter now. than perhaps it should. Yeah, it just doesn't... I'm not feeling the weight that I would expect to feel. So that's interesting. Let me go ahead and mess around with that force feedback a little bit more. Let's bring this up to 90. That's better. Okay, so it's actually 90 seems to work better on this. Now it says consider reducing force feedback gain, which is a bit strange. Yeah, I can still hear that clicking. Is it just... I wonder if it's just the way this is built. I might have to contact Fanatec and say, you know, this is clicking a lot. Why is this clicking so much? It doesn't feel, or it doesn't sound great. It really doesn't. But the feel overall is really nice. I have to say that this Clubsport wheel really feels good. It feels lively, it feels realistic, and everything just feels really well put together on this wheel. And one thing I like about this is because it's direct drive, it will always be one-to-one with the car. At least that's what I found so far. Whatever I use it on, it will always be a one-to-one relationship. Is my ABS on? ABS off. Yep, ABS was on. That's a bit cheating, given that obviously in the challenge I have ABS off. So I have to recreate the same sort of conditions as the challenge. Yes, the environment looks different, but the temperatures I have kept exactly the same. So we don't have to worry about that. It's just how it looks. So I thought it would look. I thought there'd be a bit more light. I should have really thought this through. Of course, there's not going to be more light because we're in the well, there comes some light. As I say, we're in the hills, so if the sun is really low, then we're not going to see much in the way of light, are we? Right, braking is an interesting one. I think I still need to put the performance brake pack in because it's very easy to lock up these brakes. But it's also, you can control them. You really can control it. Right. Obviously this first lap isn't all too quick. Just getting used to the difference now in the driving. And of course, one of the things is that it's only been, what's it, a day or two since I drove the other car, so it's just like jumping into a new car. You're not going to be able to just drive it just like that, flat out, or as flat out as I can. But what I will say is that I am able to feel the counter steer, or I'm able to feel the car sliding out a lot easier. So you'll probably see that I'm driving this car more, if that makes sense. I'm not just pointing it in a direction and then just, you know, just saying right, go. You'll see me coming out of corners and counter steering ever so slightly, and that's something I've just got to get a little bit more used to. in doing, and obviously I've got to find this clicking noise and try and solve it, because it is annoying. I'm almost 100% certain it's coming from the screws, but I've adjusted them, so I'm not entirely certain now. Whoops, that's wide. That's one of the things I was doing in the last one as well, in the last video. I think because of the rotation of the wheel, which is slightly more, I think it's now more than what I used to have. So maybe, I don't know whether it's changed from 900 degrees to 1080 degrees or whatever it is. Because of that, I'm finding that I tend to be understeering. The other thing is it's a bigger wheel, so I'm also understeering because of that. Being a bigger wheel, you know, you're more likely, or you need to put a little bit more force in to turn the wheel. Not by a massive amount, just a little bit, but it's still significant, and that's causing me to understeer. And yeah, that's just something that I have to figure out for myself, and that's fine. That will take a little bit of time. Okay, let's see what we've got. I mean, you saw that I haven't exactly binned it this time, which is a good thing. I mean, I did bin it. I think with the Lotus, did I not just bin it almost immediately? So that's a positive. But obviously, I have had a few scrapes, so being caught out. Alright, so at the moment it's saying 8 minutes 13, which is well off the pace of what I know this car can do. Well off the pace. Now here's where I had a problem last time, so I'm going to ease off, touch the brakes, lock up apparently, and then just power my way through. And that saved me 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Yeah, it looks like we're about 4 seconds up just by doing that. And then similarly here, same kind of thing. Now this is where I did have problems. Go around this corner. And we're in the 758s now, so we're looking for 744. 744 is our target. Now obviously I know that when I did that 744, I'm fairly sure that was a really good lap. So I'm not expecting that to happen. But what I am expecting is perhaps at least a 7 minutes 50. Despite the target being obviously, as I said, the 44. And again, just like what I said in the last video, there's sort of a natural feel to this. There's a far more natural feel to everything I'm doing here with the driving. It doesn't feel... I'm getting a lot of force feedback, a lot of different force feedback to what I'm used to. And that is what I've got to get used to in this vehicle, or in this sim and in this environment, because you know this is the kind of force feedback you would probably get if in the real world. So, well, I say this is the kind of force feedback you get in the real world. Obviously, it's not exactly a force feedback through a wheel, but you'd get all these various different sensations in the real world, which are now started to be translated in here. And I've got to get used to that, and I've got to understand what those various different sensations are. and then make the best use of them. And that's going to take a little bit of time, I think. Yeah, I think at 90 this is about where I think we should be for this. I think I hit the brakes a little too early there. Nice on the way out. Again, now I can feel the understeer very, very clearly as I go through these corners. I can feel where the car just loses traction ever so slightly, and that's a really interesting thing to be able to feel, because then you can respond to it very nicely. And I've just got to get that's the sort of understanding I need to bring forward, is that understanding from, okay, right, so I'm losing traction here, so do I ease off just slightly in this way or that way, or how? And I think that's really important. .754. I'm not doing great, to be honest. I was expecting to do better than that. I was expecting to do a lot better than that through all of this. Again, just being able to feel the tyres just understeering just that small amount and respond to that, it's very, very nice. And I can understand why people rate direct drive wheels so highly, and this CSL DD, despite its price, is no different at all. It's absolutely phenomenally good. In fact, for its price, it's probably the best bit of kit at this point in time on the market, at the time of this video, that you could get. Obviously, I know that, or I've heard rumours about Logitech looking to do a direct drive wheel. We know that Thrustmaster are going to be doing a direct drive wheel, so that's going to bring some interest to all of this. Really messed up there. Just a little too fast through it all. So yes, I would be interested in seeing what someone like Thrustmaster comes out with for this, and see whether they can compete with Fanatec, who, let's be honest, they've got a lot of experience in the direct drive market. And of course then there are these smaller companies as well. I say smaller, perhaps more specialised companies that have been doing direct drive wheels. SimiCube, for example, is one of them, who they make fantastic equipment too, but I still think that the CSL DD is the best for the price by a long shot. Up to 751. I mean, I am sort of where I thought I would be, so that's good. I suppose that also goes to show just how good that lap that I did was. Oh, this is bad. Remember when I said that in the last video that braking down there is really difficult? That is what I meant. It is not an easy thing to do. Right, so 751 is now the lap time to beat. As I said, the 44 is probably not happening, but I'm getting there. slowly but surely. Now you see, I've got to respond to that light feeling in the wheel where it goes light. I've got to respond to it. I've got to say yes, okay. This is me. This is the wheel telling me I'm understeering in a way, in a far more engaging way than my G27. I've got to do that. Okay, so I'll probably do just the one more lap. Nope, that's really bad. And the other thing that I've got to learn is catching it, because, for example, right now, right now I've got the idea of catching it is something I'm not comfortable with, and I guess the reason for that is just the wheel can spin really quickly, and I'm not comfortable with fighting it, and I'm not used to the force that you have to put in to fight it. Something that, you know, I never had to do with the G27, but have to do with this. So I'm just about getting used to the force I've got to put in to drive it, but not quite the force I have to put in to fight it. Right. And yes, I definitely need to make an adjustment on these brakes. Of course, one of the things that I have read in the comments is that I should probably leave ABS on the cars that have ABS. That's a fair point. I mean, in an Nordschleife challenge, the reason I do not do it is because the cars that have ABS obviously are designed that you can just slam the brakes as hard as you can, and then that's the end of that, which is a little bit unfair, I would say, on the older cars, which, you know, were before the invention of ABS, and those cars you really have to modulate, and it gives the new cars a more unfair advantage. That being said, I suppose that's why new cars are on the top of lists, for example. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, I definitely need to play around with the brake pedal on this. I just need a bit more. I think it needs to be a little bit more firm, which I've got the performance kit, which I haven't put in for the pedal. So having that performance kit might help me. But the wheel itself, driving with this wheel, is fantastically good. Well, I'm not sure what I hit there. Yeah, see, that is something I cannot do. I cannot catch it. Because I'm not sure about this whole letting go of the wheel and throwing it around. See, I can catch it if it's something like that, but if it's, for example, let's throw this in. Okay. Yeah, see, that's not easy for me. Throwing it around like that and throwing it sideways is really not an easy thing. Since I've messed up this lap anyway, let's give this just. Let me do a little bit of practice of throwing the car sideways. And obviously you've got to be able to catch it if you do that, you've got to be able to catch the car and catch the wheel where you want it to be, and hope you're not going to hurt your hand doing it. Especially if the force is just a little bit more than you want it to be, which I think it may still be. Yeah, see, I cannot do it. It's really difficult. Obviously, I'm in a too high a gear here. Nope, can't do it. It's just for me it's instinctive to just grab the wheel, because with the G27, yeah, with the G27 I could just grab it and it would be fine. But with this isn't. It's not a matter of grab the wheel and it's okay. It's a matter of, well, I suppose it's just not. It's just, you just cannot grab the wheel and just be okay with it. What I'll do is I'll try and do one more lap with this. I'm just curious to see, yeah, the more I'm getting used to the car, is it going to be such a fact that I can, or is it going to be such a situation where the fact is I can drive this fairly quickly, and it's just taking me some time to get used to it. If I remember correctly, I did also drop the braking pressure in this car, which is something I've not done in this. So maybe that might have something to do with my driving, or at least that might have something to do with my braking points, and perhaps, I'm not sure. Do I have anything else on this car that I can do? What does this button do? Oh, that's a handbrake. No idea what that does. That's a horn. No idea what that does. That's ABS. The other one's traction control. That one does nothing. Alright, try and hold the wheel this time. I think you would have definitely heard that click there. So that's definitely coming through the wheel itself. So I've got to figure something out here. Okay, let's try, as I said, one more lap. See what I can make of this. How about a mess? That's what I can make of it. And I want to be below 750 if I can. If that's such a possibility. Always like that corner. It's very easy to just get the back end out because you're dropping down. It's very easy to just get the back end to step out and just drift it just that little bit. That wasn't too bad. Could have carried more speed, but again, I'm not looking for the beating this car's record that I've got. I'm just looking to understand where I can drive this car and where I can really get for example, just understand the braking and understand what I'm feeling. Again, the paddles are really nice. These are fantastic paddles, as I mentioned at the start, and it's shifting this car very, it's a very positive action. it's a very deliberate action. You cannot shift by mistake, which you could with the G27. It didn't take much force to shift the G27's paddles, to press them or to pull them. In this, it does take a little bit of force, and it's really well done. I just hope that the longevity of this product is good. That's my primary concern, is that I want this to last a very long time, just like my G27 has. And if they can manage to do that, and if the Fanatec's products are that good, and at the moment I have no reason to doubt them, their quality is lovely. But if I can get that, if these products to last a very long time, then we're talking, okay, this is fantastic in the way of products, build quality and consumer, consumer friendly products, in terms of you're not constantly having to replace them or breakdowns or anything like that. And that's what I'm looking for with the Fanatec products. I'm looking for a long-term product that is really going to give me everything I want, and have the quality that I'm not chasing up. So just like my Logitech one, where I've not had, I don't think I 10 years, I cannot recall having a single issue with my Logitech system. It just works. Even when I upgraded the springs, it just continued working. Of course, it's nowhere near as modular as one of these, which is why I swapped to this. Is because obviously the modularity that you get in this sort of a product is just fantastic, and I really like that modular style that you get in a product like this. It gives you so much more, I'd say flexibility perhaps isn't the right word, customizability, yeah, that's the word. It just gives you a lot more customizability, and you can build what you want, and that's really important, to be able to build what you want as opposed to just what's given. And again, don't get me wrong, that what Logitech offer is amazing, and what's given for them is fantastic. Do not get me wrong on that. This is just I was going to say a step above, but I think it's a couple of steps above. This is maybe 2 levels up from what you would get, if not more, from Logitech with the G27, 29, 923, whatever it is, 920. But still, I would still say Logitech is a very good beginner's bit of kit. It truly is. It truly is a great bit of beginner's kit. So nothing against Logitech there. And I said, it lasted me 10 years. 1 decade I've had my Logitech equipment, and it has served me well. I've done thousands and thousands of miles on that equipment. I've done lap after lap after lap of the Nordschleifer, not just in Assetto Corsa. I've done it in Gran Turismo 5, Gran Turismo 6. What else have I done the Nordschleifer in? Obviously Assetto Corsa here. I think R Factor as well, R Factor 2. So yes, it really has served me very well. And not only the Nordschleifer, there's loads of other ones that I've done laps in. Sometimes that not just by the dozens, by the hundreds. I think I've done at one point, I remember doing a session and this was with my wheel in Formula 1. And was it Formula 1 2012? I cannot remember. Yes, I think it was Formula 1 2012, and it was I did a full race, and it was at Spain. not a single issue with the wheel at any point. It was happily the entire race, nearly 2 hours long, plus a qualifying session before, and some practice, and not a problem. So on that day, it probably had about 3.5 to 4 hours use. Not a single hiccup. So that is what I mean by how good the Logitech is. But this is just something else, and I really would like, I would like it to be that this in 10 years time I'm saying the exact same about this, that it's such high quality, such a great product, and it lasted so long because it was just so well built. And that is what I would like to say about this Fanatec product. What lap time did I get? 7:46.77. Do you know what? 2 seconds off. I'm happy with that. I think that's a pretty good job from this bit of kit. And again, the shifts are really nice. I mean, you could probably hear them. Listen, if you listen carefully. I'm just trying to push them harder than I normally would. It's very, very nice. Very strong magnets on them as well, so they do really work. Again, I know for a fact that this was not the cleanest of laps, and I know I can get the 744s. But that being said, I think that this has shown quite well what the CSL DD and the Clubsport RS wheel can do. I'm still a little bit concerned about that clicking noise. Do need to find that. And the other thing is my brakes. I need to adjust the brakes. I need to add the performance kit, but also coming off the brakes, if you listen carefully, let's pick up a little bit of speed so I can actually use the brakes as I need to. I put it into 7th, so it's not too bad. Right, I'm just going to hit the brakes lightly and then come off them, and you'll hear that knocking. And it's not just from the brakes. I mean, look, this is the accelerator, and it's because it's all metal. I certainly understand that, but I kind of. It would have been nice if we could get away from that, and if there was a way to dampen it. So if anyone knows a way to dampen that, please do let me know, because it would be nice to not have that noise all the way through. So even if I come off it really, really lightly, that's me coming off it very lightly. I mean, look how much I'm pressing the brakes. If I just go. Let's just accelerate up a bit and put it into 7th. Look how much I'm pressing. Look how little I'm pressing the brake, should I say, and how much noise it makes. See, not ideal. So that's the only thing. That's probably the only criticisms I've got of my Fanatec kit right now. It's just got a little bit of knocking, obviously because it's all metal and the higher quality, but I need to find a way to dampen that a little, just for the recording's sake, because I could hear it in the last recording, and it does get a little bit annoying. But with that, I'm going to end this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa. North Driver Challenge will be returning soon, as will other videos on other driving sims potentially. I'm looking at doing a ACC, BeamNG Drive, perhaps some R-Factor 2. That would be really nice, but first obviously I need to get used to this wheel properly, not just the, how many laps have I done today? 3 laps today? Not just the 3 laps I've done today and the 4 laps that I did yesterday. That's not enough to get used to a wheel, that's for sure. When I get a handbrake, which I do intend to get at some point. When I get that handbrake, I will be looking at perhaps going into some rallying, because that would be interesting, I would say. So we shall see. Anyway, if you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so at www.patreon.com/ECGadget. Your support would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. In fact, that support is partly what funded me to be able to upgrade my equipment after 1 decade, and it's certainly what helped me purchase a new laptop to enable faster video editing and video processing. So thank you very much to those people who do support me on Patreon, and if you want to join them, do check out the link in the description box below. I do want to try and do some more with it at this point soon, but at this point in time it's a little bit difficult to do so. And you can find me on social media at ECGadget LP for both Twitter and Instagram. That's all from me. See, I cannot do it. I just cannot do it. That's all from me, and I'll see you next time in Assetto Corsa, where we should be back with the Nordschleifer challenge.